Hello everyone, how are you? Can you see me okay? We are live from OmTurtle Yoga. My name is Angie Karen and I'm the owner of OmTurtle Yoga Spa and Cafe, and welcome to day one of our yoga-thon. So today we are going to be practicing yoga all day long, starting at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, we are going to do, right now, we're going to do Yoga 101 for beginners. So for all of you out there who have been curious about yoga, wanted to try yoga, but maybe were afraid to or wasn't sure what it was like, this is the perfect class for you. I'm going to demonstrate the class, just kind of go through the moves for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the principles and things, and so that it'll maybe ease your mind a little bit about taking yoga. Then we're going to move into slow flow, which is a perfect class for beginners. So if you're looking to stay a little bit longer, I invite you to stay in our slow flow class. Every class is 45 minutes today, so you're welcome to just keep going on. Take your 15-minute break if you need to, and just come back for the next class if you can. So after slow flow is a power flow. Then we're going to have a kids yoga class, and then a restorative deep stretch class later, followed by some tutorials. So today, all day long, we are here for you as we get through this week of coronavirus lock-in here in Missouri. That is apparently supposed to start today. So don't worry, this is free all week long. Don't worry about paying, don't worry about donations. I know lots of you are asking for that. This is just me trying to get yoga out to you and to the masses, because I believe we all need a little bit of peace in our hearts right now. Wouldn't you agree to that? So I'm gonna go ahead and step back. Go ahead and get in your space, a nice comfy space for you. Can you hear me okay? If you can hear me okay, give me some hearts on the screen so I can see. Awesome, wonderful. So the equipment that I'm gonna have here today, I've got a bolster. So this is a bolster. You can use, thank you. You can grab a pillow if you would like. Yes, pillows are great. Just got maybe 2 pillows if you've got a soft pillow so that you have something to sit up on. We have some blankets, so grab yourself a blanket. This is a Mexican yoga blanket. Lots of us use those, but any blanket is fine, not anything too big. Thanks for all the hearts, y'all. I love you. I'm so glad to be here. Grab a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, then grab maybe a belt or a sash. You have all this stuff at home, so we can practice. The belt is so that you can, say you're trying to reach for your feet and you just can't reach your feet, you take that belt and you kind of use it as an extension of your arms. I also have a block. Not everybody has blocks. It's okay if you don't have a block, but if you have one laying around, maybe grab one. Blocks are also an extension of your arms. It's also a stability, something to help with the stability in the poses. So as you're kind of reaching down, maybe you're feeling a little unsteady, it's a good idea to grab that block, place it underneath you, put your hand on it, put your foot on it. It's going to help stabilize your poses, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But if you don't have any of this equipment, it's okay. Yoga is accessible to everyone. So yoga came very raw and real to me, and I'm going to discuss this later on when we get into the overcoming anxiety portion, which I believe starts at 5 o'clock today. But I just want you all to know, please listen to me, because this is very, very important, and it is what I've spent 7 years trying to convince, that yoga is for everyone. Do you agree? My practitioners, I know you're out there. Yoga is for everyone. So, I know people come in here all the time and they say, I'm too fat for yoga. I'm not flexible. You know how many times I've heard I'm not too flexible for yoga? I can't quiet my mind. I am, whatever reason, I'm old, whatever it is, you say, I can't do yoga because of. And that's the exact reason why you need to do yoga. All of us can do yoga. And I always say that if you can breathe, you can do yoga. So remember that. So if you're practicing a pose and it just doesn't feel right for you, always remember this. It is your body. You are in control of your body. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And at OmTurtle, once we actually get back into classes here, you will realize that we have one of the most accepting, one of the most beautiful set of students that just are so welcoming and loving, and they just want to be here. They just want to be together. They just want to be able to have a place where they can just be themselves. And that's what you can be when you practice yoga, is yourself. So just get comfy. In regards to clothing for yoga, don't get all fancy. You don't have to go to those expensive yoga places to buy clothes, right? All you need is some comfy pants, a comfy shirt. I always wear this on my head because it keeps my hair out of my face. I have a ton of hair, so this keeps it out of my face. Plus it reminds me of, oh yeah, you know. So comfy clothes, don't wear a lot of makeup. Just kind of breathe, take it in, find a spot. Don't worry about everything else, okay? It's not a big deal. There's not a lot that goes along with yoga. Now, in regards to a yoga class itself, I want to go through an actual structure of a yoga class, okay? So when you get into yoga, here, when you come to OmTurtle, we actually keep our doors locked all day long. And the reason for that is because it is your quiet space. It's your private space. So, I don't want people coming in and out, wanting to use the bathroom, wanting to sell me stuff. I don't have time for that nonsense, and neither do you. We don't need those distractions. You hear me on that? So when you come in to class, we open the door about 15 minutes before class, let everybody in, get on your mat, get settled. We lock the door at the beginning of class, and there's a reason for that. Because we have to get into our space. We kind of have to shake off that day. And if people are coming in late, it just wrecks your zen. You know that. I know you've been to classes where people come in late, shake their mats out. That doesn't happen here. You get into class, you get on your mat, you get yourself stable, you say hi to your friends, and then you get quiet and you start to meditate. You breathe. That's why we don't let people in after the beginning of class, because you paid for that whole class. You deserve that whole class. We're going to give you that whole class. All right? So you come in, you get on your mat. Typically, you'll look at your instructor's mat to see what your instructor has, because that's usually what you'll need for that day. But your instructor might not have a block or a bolster, but you know that you might need that. So grab your bolster, grab your blanket, grab your block, and a strap if you need it. Get it on your space so that you have everything you need just in case. Once you get on that in your mat, number one, your mat is your sacred space. So I always tell people, don't step on each other's mats, because this is your space in which all kinds of magic is about to happen. And I know that sounds foo-foo, but once you practice and you keep practicing, the most amazing things are going to start with your mind and your body, your emotions, the way you think. It's all going to cultivate, and it's going to keep cultivating the more that you practice yoga. So this is your space, and treat it as a space. When you step on your mat, allow yourself to kind of relax into it. Release everything that you had outside of this world, because this mat now is your world and your world only. Once you get on there, I like my students to sit up on a bolster or something higher, maybe a blanket, maybe even a block. And the reason for that is when your knees are lower than your hips, it lifts your back up higher, and it puts your posture in a little bit better space. It's more comfortable to sit on a bolster than to sit on the ground, because then we'll find that our low back will start to kind of slouch and we'll start to sit like this. So sitting on a bolster, something is ideal. So if you got something to sit on, go ahead and grab it right now. You'll start to breathe. So at the beginning of class, your instructor will introduce herself or himself, and they will say, okay, let's go ahead and begin our yoga breathing. They're going to bring you down, and we're going to close our eyes and start to breathe. Now, you'll notice that people will be doing funny things with their hands, and you may have always wondered what those were, right? So let me teach you. Are you ready? Have you ever wondered what this meant? Yeah, give me some hearts. Yes. Why do they do this? I don't know. Okay, so what it is, all right, so your first finger to thumb, you always see your yogis, they usually have their palms up, and they have their first finger to their thumb sitting nice and tall. First finger to thumb, there's some nerve endings in each one of your fingertips that connect in the brain. First finger to thumb is for calming. Calming, that's your calming center. Your middle finger to thumb is patience. Patience. So if you put your middle finger to your thumb, it's patience. Ring finger to thumb is your connectivity, your relationships. Pinky to thumb is communications. So if you're coming to class and you're like, you know what? I need to feel calm. I need to feel patient. I need some energy, ring finger, energy, connectivity. Pinky is communications. Maybe you're lost for words. Maybe you're going through some stuff and you need to find the right words to tell somebody. Then you pinky to thumb. Okay, so let's go that together. First finger to thumb is calm. Middle finger to thumb is patience. I always say if you're going to flip somebody off, you need patience. Ring finger to thumb is energy, energetic health, creativity to people, or connectivity to people. And then pinky is communications. You'll see that some yogis will have their palms up and some yogis will have their palms down. Basically what that means, palms up is receiving of your practice. So I'm receiving, just as if I was going to go like this. I'm receiving of my practice, yes? And when my palms are down, I am staying grounded in my practice. Grounded in my practice. So say I showed up to yoga class and I need to find calm today. Calm is first finger to thumb, palms up, and down on my thighs, just like that. If I feel really calm, but I feel really good in my space, and I want to keep my calm, first finger to thumb, palms down. I'm going to stay grounded in my calm. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes? Sometimes you'll see yogis, they'll actually take their dominant hand and they will put it on top of their other hand. Thumbs will be together and they place their hands underneath their belly. And basically that just is a, you know what, I don't need to think so much about it. I just need to take care of myself. I just need myself. Sometimes pregnant mamas will do that, or maybe you have some issues in your digestive system, or maybe you just have sacral issues. I don't know. So your body will tell you what you need. Just like this. And this hang. You'll also see people with their hands at their heart center. So anytime in a yoga class, when you put your thumbs to your heart center, just like that, palms together, it's a symbol of prayer, yes, for sure. But it's also a symbol of your authentic self. So let me pause there. In a yoga class, you can be authentic. You don't have to be a mom, a sister, a brother, a husband, a coworker, a wife. It is just you and your authentic self. And sometimes you forget who that authentic self is. Would you agree with that? Do you forget your authentic self? Well, when yoga class, you have no choice just to be who you are, right? Whoever you were designed to be, that innate person that you are, and you don't have to pretend for that hour. And that's what makes yoga so amazing. So when you put your thumbs together and you touch your breastbone, it is a symbol of, you know what? Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. This is me, and me only. Yes? Okay, authentic self. Calm, patience, energy, communications, authentic self. I just need my core. Yeah? I just need all that. So that's what we do when we start a yoga class. We start to breathe in and out the nose. In and out the nose, all the way down to the belly. If you have questions, feel free to post the questions. I will look at them later and I will respond to you after the video, but I'm happy to help you in any way we can. So feel free to shoot those questions at me and I will answer them to you after the video is over. So, okay, so now we're breathing. So let me teach you how to breathe. First and foremost, I want you all to take a big deep breath right now. Big deep breath, as deep as you can into the belly. Big deep breath. Okay, now take another deep breath and I want you to watch your breath. Just kind of watch your body. See what's going on. Now, if I were sitting in your room watching you, my guess is your breath went like this. Right? And then your second breath you notice and you breathe up in your upper chest. And that's probably what you just did. Most likely that's what you just did. Most people only breathe in their upper chest. And the reason why is because that's what we're conditioned to do, right? Your lungs are huge, they're way down here. But for some reason, throughout our life, we just take these shallow breaths. We don't breathe deep. So I'd like for you to sit there for a little bit and just notice your breath without changing your breath. So just kind of feel your breathing. Notice if it's labored as you breathe into the nose. Notice if it's a little raspy in the chest. Notice where you're at right now. Feel that breath. And if you're just now tuning in, I'm seeing a lot more people joining. This is going to be recorded and this will be put out later. So if you missed the beginning, that's okay. You can watch it later. All right. Now we're just practicing on our breathing right now. Good. Now I would like for you, instead of raising the chest and the shoulders, I would like for you to think about pulling that breath all the way down to your belly button. So everybody take your hand and place it on your belly. Here we go. Place it on your belly, and now let's go ahead and breathe in and out and see if you can expand your belly button outwards instead of raising the chest. There we go. Thanks for the hearts, love you. Good, breathe all the way down to the belly. Good, inhale and exhaling all the way down to the belly. Why is breathing so important? I'm gonna stop right here while you're breathing, you keep going. Breathing is already built into our body, right? Yes, it keeps us alive, and if we stop breathing, we die. But let's talk about situations in which we're under stress, okay? So let's imagine we're driving down the road, and a deer comes out in front of you, right? What is the first thing you do? Think about it. Your body, what does your body do when a deer runs right out in front of you? What do? You all go, right? Do you do that? And when you do that, your eyes get big, your breathing kind of gets real shallow, your senses are overloaded, you hear better, you see better, all your senses all of a sudden came alive. Your digestive system stopped working because you don't need to digest food at that moment. Your reproductive system stopped working because you don't need to have a baby at that moment. But all those senses, all of a sudden, bam, just like that. Oh. So what happened is your fight or flight response just came alive, right? This is what's designed in our body every single day to kind of get us through. And at that moment, we need to make a decision. Are we going to stop? Are we going to fight? Are we going to flight? Are we going to try to avoid, right? Well, then that deer goes by and we're safe. Everything is okay, right? Now what do? What does your body do when that deer passes? You take a big deep breath, right? You're like, you might take a big deep breath. You might be the person, though. Ask yourself this. Let's be honest. Are you the person that's like, today is the worst day ever. I gotta go home. I gotta make dinner. And you stay stressed. Are you that kind of person who just continues to cultivate that anger and you kind of start to build upon it all day long? Or are you that person that kind of be like, okay, I got this. We want to get to the point where you're like, okay, I got this. We're safe. Everything is okay. Well, what you just did was you went, that's your stress, that's your cortisol, your adrenaline, your fight or flight, your eyeballs, everything is awake. And then all of a sudden, ideally, you go, we're good. That's your deep breathing. So you have it in you. We just don't know how to practice it all the time when we need it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You have that in your body. Give me some hearts if that makes sense. I want to make sure I'm making sense to y'all. Deep breathing in and exhaling. That's innate. That's part of your body. So when you come into a yoga class, okay, let's breathe. Let's practice the breathing. Let's go. Ready? Find your mudra. That's what I just showed you with your fingers. Let's take the big deep breaths. In and out the nose, all the way down to the belly. Let's take 5 of those. Are you ready? Inhale. Exhale. Expand that belly. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Always in and out the nose. Unless we're trying to release heat, we'll open our mouth, but typically yogic breathing is in and out the nose. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. 2 minutes of deep breathing just like this is enough to turn your body from your fight or flight to your relaxation. From your sympathetic to your parasympathetic. From your stress system to your relaxation system. You have all of these chemicals that exert into your body when you are stressed, and when you breathe, it turns on the other side of your body, which then puts other chemicals in your body to help you relax and calm your body down. It's what you already have built into your body. You have this. We just need to utilize it better than we have before. All right, keep breathing. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Now let's practice some Ujjayi breathing. Tilt your chin down just a little bit. Good. Pretend like you have an orange between your chin and your chest. Good. Now this is called Ujjayi breathing, or Darth Vader breath, or oceanic breath. Okay? So tilt your chin just a little bit. And I want you to see if you can cultivate the breath in the throat. okay? So inhaling through the nose and kind of pull it, dragging it along the throat, which is gonna create a little bit of a noise. And on your exhale, you will exhale and you will, almost like you're saying the word ha, ha, but your mouth is closed. And you're gonna create that rumbly sound in your throat. I'm gonna come a little closer so maybe you can hear me, okay? Oh, thank you for all the comments. Let's go ahead and breathe in. Ready? Here we go. Tilting the chin. Inhale. Can you hear that? Inhale. Good. Big deep breath in. Exhale. And what we're actually doing as we're breathing like this is we're sending a message to our ears. We're actually tricking our brain that we are at rest or that we're sleeping. So if we can create a deeper breath, a louder breath, your brain is gonna think, oh my gosh, she's resting, so I need to follow suit. So then all of a sudden the rest of your body starts to relax too. Does that make sense? So deep breathing in and out your nose. If you can make a louder noise in and out, that's gonna help with the relaxation of your body, okay? So I know sometimes in class people get like, oh, I don't wanna make so much noise because I don't wanna be embarrassed. I don't want people to think that I'm noisy. It's important to be noisy when you're breathing. So I always say, come on guys, I can't hear you breathe, let's go. So you breathe in and out loud enough so that you can hear yourself breathe. That is very important when it comes to your yogic breathing. Because when you hear it, all of a sudden your muscles start following suit. Your muscles get longer, they get more relaxed, you're feeding more oxygen in your body, which is gonna give you that space that you need to relax. Does that make sense? Give me some hearts if that makes sense. I'm going back to my mat. Awesome. All right, friends. So after you breathe, we're probably going to breathe in class. Right now, if you just joined us, we're going through the structure of a yoga class, okay? So we just got into class. We got on our mats. We just learned how to breathe. It's fundamental to learn how to breathe. If you did not catch that, I'm going to record this and put this out later so you can catch up on it later. So breathing is the most important part of class. So if you're doing any posture or pose and you feel like, you know what? I'm just not feeling this today, just breathe. I promise you, if you just breathe, you're doing yoga. All right, so once you start breathing, you're done breathing. Breathing is throughout your entire class. Anytime you open a pose, you inhale. Anytime you close a pose, you exhale. So for example, if I'm inhaling up, I'm gonna inhale. If I'm exhaling, say I'm closing down a pose, I'm gonna exhale here as I'm closing. Anytime you're collapsing the lungs, you exhale. Anytime you open the lungs, you inhale. Okay, so that's in any posture, any poses. You'll start moving into gentle stretching poses. So let's go ahead and practice a few gentle stretches. So let's go ahead and inhale up. Bring your arms up high. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, hands at heart center. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, right hand. Your right hand is going to find the floor next to you. Your left arm is going to reach and you're going to bend and turn your face up towards the ceiling. Good. We're just lightly warming up in a class. Every class is started inhaling and then exhaling. Every class starts with gentle movement, gentle realignment of the body. We're going to inhale again up. Your left hand is going to find the outside of your right thigh. So left hand, right thigh, right hand turns back behind you. We're going to go ahead and go into a twist. Your right hand is behind you, palm facing away. Lift up is super tall, head, heart, hips on top of one another. Then turn your face towards your right shoulder. Stay here and let's breathe for about 3 long, slow, deep breaths. You got this? When you're breathing, about a 5-second inhale, 7-second exhale if you can. That will extend as you continue to learn how to breathe. Breathing is going to be a little bit difficult at first. Don't worry about it because your lungs aren't used to breathing that deep, but they will be retrained, I promise you that. All right, let's inhale and exhale. Good. On your next inhale, bring your arms up high. Here we go. Inhale. On the exhale, your right hand finds the outside of your left thigh. Here we go. Left hand spins around you, palm facing away. Lift up your body in your chest. Turn your chin towards your left shoulder. So keep breathing here. I'm going to keep talking, okay? So what we're doing here is we're actually twisting the spine. This is a seated twist. So when you're twisting the spine, it's kind of like wringing out a dish rag. So you know how you have those dish rags in your sink that you know need to be put in the wash because they're disgusting and they've got junk in it from last night's dinner, right? So that's exactly what your spine is. Your spine is that dish rag that needs to be washed. So if you were to, when we twist, go ahead and come on back. When we twist, come on up. Hands at heart center. Let's pause here while I talk. So in yoga, when we're twisting and we're breathing, we're actually making the blood and the oxygen flow through our body a whole lot more than it did before. So what you're doing is just like you take that dish rag and you wash it out with water, right, to kind of wring it out. That's exactly what we're doing when we're twisting and we're moving the body and the muscles. Is all that new fresh blood, oxygen that you put in your body is making your blood move around a lot more, which is then wringing out those yucky dish rags that you have inside of your body, those yucky sponges that have stuff kind of collected in them. Does that make sense? So anytime you're twisting and wringing and breathing, you're getting all that out, which is then going to be released through your skin, through your bodily functions, through your breath. So the more you twist, the more you breathe, the more you're going to start releasing those toxins. Does that make sense? Wonderful, here we go. All right, so now we're doing these nice gentle stretches. We're talking about the structure of a class. So we just got on our mats. We relaxed. We took about 3 to 5 minutes of deep breathing. We took about 3 to 5 minutes of gentle stretching. Then we move more into the core, the heat of the class, if you will. And this is where you might be, depending on the class, you might be flowing, you might be doing meditational stretches, you might be just holding more hatha type stretches. There is a lot of different kinds of yoga, which can also be kind of intimidating for people, am I right? So like, what does vinyasa mean? What does hatha mean? What does kundalini mean? And that can be intimidating to people. Do you agree with me? Can you is that something that is a thing for you? Like, where do I start? At OmTurtle Yoga, we remove all those words because we want to make sure that it's accessible. So we have what's called a low flow class. Low flow means it's all on the ground. It's not a beginner's or an advanced class because all people love to take low flow. Sometimes they just want to relax in a class. So low flow, all on the ground, long, slow, deep stretches, more meditational. Slow flow is gentle movement to breath. Slow flow is just, you might be up, you might be down, you might be on the floor. It's just more at a slower pace. Then you have the all levels class. In our all levels, what our instructors do, by the way, I have the most amazing instructors on the planet. I'm just telling you right now. All levels is we give you challenge poses as well as modifications throughout the class. So your body is going to be different every single day. One day you're going to be fabulous. The next day you're going to be like, why am I not fabulous anymore? And that's because your body changes on a daily basis, especially women who have hormones surging through them. Some days we feel stretchy, the next day we don't. And that's normal. So we just kind of have to ebb and flow with the way our bodies work. Our all levels classes, like I said, are designed for everyone, but you have to learn how to modify and challenge yourself as necessary. Then we have a power flow class, which is a much more energetic class. That class is going to be in 2 hours where we just move, we flow, we get sweaty, we go from one pose to another. Then we have chair yoga class. At chair yoga, you actually sit in a chair and we do long, slow, deep stretches. We have fun in our classes, actually. I always say this isn't an old ladies class. We're going to challenge you. We're going to have fun in the classes. You're going to do your level, though, not my level. You're going to do your level. So then after we do our core, our meat of the class, then we come down to our more of our cool down. So it's a little bit more of those deep stretches like we did at the beginning of class. However, this might be more on the ground. We might be doing hip openers. We might be on our back doing bridges or things that are a little bit more relaxing. Let's go ahead and do one of those actually right now. I'm going to move my bolster. Okay, so go ahead and come on your back, just like this. Good. Take your feet and step your feet on either side of the mat. So your right foot is on the right side of the mat. Your left foot is on the left side of your mat. Your hands are down, palms are down next to your body. And this is what's called windshield wiper. So basically we're just very gently sweeping our knees back and forth. And this is just helping to open up the hips, kind of playing around, touching the edges of our hips a little bit. It feels so good, almost meditational when we do this. We're always inhaling, so I'm going to inhale as I go to one side, and I'll exhale as I go to the other. In a little bit, we're going to go through the 12 most common poses. So I'm just going through the structure of the class right now, and then I'm going to give you the 12 most common poses. We're just playing around right now. We're going to bring our knees into our chest, and we're going to kind of snuggle our knees a little bit and rock from side to side. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and address a concern that I guarantee 75% of you have right now. You just don't want to admit it. And that's farting in class. How many of you are afraid to fart in class? Let's admit it. Give me some hearts. I know you are. So we do some things where we might bring our feet up in the air and we grab on to the outsides or the insides of our feet. This is called happy baby. And every single person in the room is afraid that this is the moment that they are going to pass gas in class. Let me tell you something, it's gonna happen and it's okay. There's no judgment here, so allow yourself if you need to. What I always say is that if you fart in class, that means it is working, so don't be afraid. It happens to all of us, okay? All of us, thank you for the hearts. So this is called happy baby. I'm just rocking from side to side. It feels really good on my spine. I'm relaxing. I might bring my feet up and try to reach my toes. So that is the kind of stuff that we do at the end of class before we move to what's called Shavasana. So Shavasana is the meditation at the end of class. I feel like it's the most important part of class. It's basically when we lie on our backs. Some people like to sit up in their meditation. Some people love to put their legs up on the wall. It really depends on what you like to do. I'm going to show you what I like to do in Shavasana. Shavasana is, like I said, this is usually lasts 5 to 10 minutes of class. In my classes, I love to give everybody 10 minutes, maybe 11 minutes, because like I said, this is where your entire practice culminates. It's like when you bake a cake, right? So when you bake a cake, it's doing all of its warm goodness in the oven, right? Which we just did. But then we bring the cake out and it's got to settle, right? The heat is in there, the steam has got to come out, right? And then it settles into this most amazing, beautiful, luscious chocolate cake. You'd be hungry now, chocolate cake. And it's sitting on the counter and we have to put the icing on it. Yes, this is the icing, okay? This is the icing. So I love to put a bolster up underneath my knees, or a pillow if you've got one underneath the knees. And the reason for that is it's just comfort for me, and it's comfort for what I've noticed most of the people in our classes, is that when you lay flat on your back, which is really traditional in yoga, I don't feel like it's comfortable. I would rather my knees be up a little bit more, but if you're okay with laying flat, feel free to do that. But I'd say put a blanket or a bolster up underneath your knees, or a pillow. And then you'll lay all the way down on your back. And I always say palms up because you want to receive your meditation, your Shavasana. And you can relax. I'm going to release my legs, cross the bolsters, releasing your body completely, letting your knees float open. Making sure you can see me. Yes, you can. Making sure your knees float open. Just be completely comfortable, completely aware of your body. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to start to breathe. Now, I'd love for you to practice this right now. So go ahead and lay on your back and start to breathe. I'm going to keep talking because I want to talk you through this. So this could be possibly the hardest part of your class. And the reason for that is that many of us cannot quiet our minds. I hear all the time, I cannot quiet my monkey mind, right? Or my mind is always going. There's no way I'm going to be able to meditate. And that's okay. So your brain is like a muscle, right? We have to train that muscle. We've got to tell it what it needs to do. So what we were going to do is we are when you are meditating and you're breathing, you're inhaling, you're exhaling through your nose, you're starting to soften, everything is relaxing. Those thoughts are going to come through your mind, and that's okay. The worst thing you could do when that starts to happen is get frustrated with yourself doing that. Does that make sense? Do not get frustrated with yourself, because then what's going to happen is every time you try to meditate, you're going to get frustrated and your brain is going to shut down. So it's going to go, oh, she's meditating again. I don't want to do this. This is no fun. So you're basically disciplining yourself while you're supposed to be relaxing. So instead, when you're laying there in Shavasana and you're breathing and you're relaxing and the candles are going and the music is on, just if a thought comes through, imagine it as part of a bubble, right? Imagine like, oh, thinking, and put it on a bubble and let it float away. Try not to feed that energy. Try not to deliver anything into that thought, because then all of a sudden you're on a train and you're down somewhere else and you're not doing your meditation. So breathing in and out, exhaling, thoughts come there, go ahead and just dismiss them, keep dismissing them. And what you're doing is you're eventually training your brain, and your brain is going to dismiss them as well. And then eventually you're going to get to the space where it's just kind of black. Like you're going to come out of Shavasana and you're not even going to remember that you were in Shavasana. That's important. That's exciting. So, but it's going to take time and practice to learn how to meditate, and that's okay. We've got plenty of time to do that. Does that make sense, friends? Awesome. Okay, so once you get done with your meditation, your instructor is going to kind of have you move around a little bit. He or she is going to say, okay, take some deep breaths, start making some small movements. You're going to roll over to one side, and then that instructor is going to gently get you back up into a seated posture, and then you're going to be basically kind of waiting. I love this moment in class where it's that right at the end of your class where you're just calm and relaxed, and then you have the rest of your day. So you have a lot of choices you can make at this time. You can either step off the mat and decide that whatever caused you to get on the mat, you can go ahead and snag that back up and take it with you, or you can decide, you know what, I'm better now. And I'm going to walk off this mat. I'm going to take all this amazing energy that I just created on the mat, and I'm going to let that influence my day. I'm going to make better choices. I'm